Hey guys, here's a highly technical demonstration of the acquisition accounting we went through last class. We're going to go through this one. Usually I do it in class, but I'm worried about there not being a camera in there. So let's see how this works. So what I've got here, in this chair I've got ACO. It's got a bunch of assets and liabilities in it. And there's A Corp shareholders, the chair, that owns 5,000 shares. BCO is the jar there. If we opened up, it's got a bunch of assets and liabilities in it. And all the BCO shares are owned by this chair. So the first transaction we looked at was the acquisition of net assets using cash. So cash comes out of ACO. They get all the assets and liabilities of BCO. And BCO has some cash. So, BCO still exists, but the only asset they have is cash. ACO has all of the assets and liabilities that used to be in BCO, and like any purchase, those are going to be recorded at the fair value of what they acquired. Okay? So ACO just goes on and does accounting as per normal after you buy any assets or any liabilities. So let's reverse that transaction. Stick a few of our assets and liabilities back in here. And the second transaction we looked at was now ACO is going to buy all the net assets of BCO, but instead of using cash, they're going to use shares. So A Corp issues 4,000 shares. They acquire all the net assets from BCO. BCO still exists, but now the only asset they have is these 4,000 shares. And this is important where we have to determine who's the acquirer. The acquirer is whoever has the most shares. Now in this example, A Corp shareholders, this chair, still has 5,000 shares of A. The other chair, B Corp, owns 4,000 shares of A in B Corp. So these shareholders still have control, so they are the acquirer. Okay, so that's purchases of net assets. Again, all the accounting in A Corp is based on the new costs, and off we go. So let's redo it again. Put all our assets and liabilities back in here. It's highly technical stuff. Hours went into the preparation of this. And now we're going to look at, well, instead of buying net assets, let's buy shares. So example 3, which we did last time, A Corp acquired all of the shares of B Corp for cash. So here's the cash. They give it, now they're giving it to the shareholders, right? So it's going to the chair. And all of these B Corp shares are now in A. Or another way of looking at it is, right, B Corp is now part of A. Same assets, same liabilities, same values. We're going to revalue everything in B at its fair value, and that's the acquisition accounting we have to go through. Okay? So all of the B Corp shares are now in Company A, so therefore Company B is essentially in there. They control it all. And when we look at eliminations, in BCO is the share capital and the retained earnings, but all of that share capital is owned by ACO. So the shares and the investment in the shares on a consolidated basis don't exist. They eliminate each other. So they will never show up on ACO's financial statements. So in this case, we have to do consolidated financial statements. We're going to do A, we're going to do B, and then we're going to add them together and adjust. Okay? And one more example that we didn't get to last time and we'll do in today's class. We're going to do an acquisition of BCO shares using ACO shares. So again, ACO is going to write up 4,000 new shares. They're going to give it to the shareholders of BCO. And ACO is going to own all these shares. So again, the old shareholders of BCO now own 4,000 shares of A. Again, we need to determine the acquirer because there wasn't cash. And the acquirer is A because they have, the former shareholders of A have 5,000 shares. The former shareholders of B only have 4,000 shares. So control is here, acquisition's here. Everything is recorded at fair value. And again, when we report, we're reporting everything in the bowl. So we're recording A, adding B to it, and then we have to consolidate to get rid of anything that doesn't exist outside of the bowl, like the shares and the investment in shares. Hopefully that is a decent demonstration that helps you follow the transactions we're going through. Thanks all.